So it just shows that it takes all kinds of size, shape, gender, appearance, and softness and hardness, and it takes a village to support these kids, and that's what's so beautiful is we're all different in our own way.
They know that you're going to do what you say and say what you do, and you're always going to be there for them. And I tell people that this biker image makes what we do work.
My name is Hulk.
And I'm Passion.
And we are members of Bikers Against Child Abuse, Maricopa County Chapter.
So one thing that's really cool that we did when we designed our business was we enabled ourselves to have a schedule where we could volunteer in the community. And when we found out about Baka, we knew it was exactly where we were meant to be. So in our normal life, we are very lucky to work from home and set our schedule so that we can have that flexibility, especially when it comes to going to court with the kids.
Okay, do you mind giving me a little a background on Baka?
It was started in 1995 by a gentleman we call Chief. His name's J.P. Lilly out of Utah. He was a child play therapist, worked with children mainly between the ages of 3 and 8, a lot of whom had been abused. And he would make tremendous progress in his office just to have that child go home and get a phone call from the perpetrator, or the perpetrator would drive by the house and it would destroy all the progress he had made. Before he was a play therapist, he was a biker, and he knew what bikers could do to empower people, and he thought that might work with kids, so he organized his first ride. I think he said he had 27 motorcycles, about 40 people rode to the first kid's house, and they realized that this was something that could work. This was something that could be done repeatably all over the United States and all over the world, and now we're in 7 countries with our 8th country coming online, and we're in 41 states here in the U.S.
I'm Nitro. I am with the Maricopa County chapter of Baka. I'm the PR events coordinator. And as you can see behind me, I've got my brothers and sisters here. We are going on what we call a level 1. It's to bring a child into our organization. We all go together and we introduce ourselves to the child. The child's already been met by our child liaison, our president, our security, and vice president. This is where we get road names for them. Once we get the road name, we get what we call a SCOTY, and it's a jean vest that we put their road name on. We also put some other patches on, and one on the back that says we're in the family. We want to make sure these kids know that we're not going away. And when we say that we're going to do something, that we're going to be there, we're going to do it for them. We'll do whatever it takes to bring a child into the organization. We're their big brothers and sisters. We don't want them to be afraid anymore. But wherever it takes, I've had my brothers and sisters ride through sandstorms and rain and sleet and snow, and it just doesn't matter. As long as we reach that child and let them know, we're here for you. We're not going to fail them.
What's considered abuse, we run the whole gamut: physical, sexual, emotional. One of the things we do when we do bring in a child into Baka, if we have one child that's been documented abused and they have siblings, we'll bring the siblings in as well. We'll give them their own cuts, and we'll give them some of the trinkets and things. And that's oftentimes because even if they haven't physically had a hand laid on them and been through the same abuse, they've been impacted by the abuse their brother or sister has had. So we try to bring them all in and let them all know they have, they don't have to do this. They all have someone looking out for them. And that's where part of what we do as being family. When we introduce ourselves to the child, we introduce ourselves as their brothers and sisters. We say they're our family. And that's really important because a lot of these kids, maybe they're with grandma or grandpa, or maybe they're with CPS, maybe they're in a group home, and family is something that's very confusing to them because oftentimes family was the abuser. We go into courts with kids and we'll sit on our side of the courtroom, and over on the other side of the courtroom are all these people they used to call family because they're supporting the perpetrator. Aunts and uncles are now taking the side of the person who hurt this child, and this poor child doesn't understand what they've done wrong. So now we bring in the image of family and we say, we are your family, we will always be here, we will always stand by you.
I'm Brooklyn. I'm with Baka Maricopa County chapter, and I'm the chapter merchandiser. Tonight this is an awareness event for us. If by having a booth out, if we reach one family, one child, the whole night was worth it. Because we pay for therapy and other items for the children, we have merchandise booths so that we can help support the mission. Everything is exchanged for donation, and all the money goes back to support the mission.
When I say the funds belong to the kids, the funds belong to the kids. Not only do we pay for therapy, and therapy could be in any form. It could be, seeing a therapist, but it also could mean that what if a little boy or little girl wants to take karate to help defend themselves, for the rest of their life. We'll pay for the karate. We have equestrian therapy, whatever therapy works for those kids.
How long have you been members of the B.A.C.A organization?
I started with B.A.C.A 2 years ago. There was an article that came out in the Arizona Republic, and my stepdad brought it to me. And I actually, my goddaughter was a victim of CPS. 18 different transitions. They gave her back to her biological mother, and she came back to us with cigarette burns and cuts and bruises and unable to talk or walk. And I sat on the back patio and just cried and said, we have to be an advocate for children. They need a voice. And then I saw the article about B.A.C.A, and we attended our first meeting, and now we've been here for 2 years.
I've always had a passion with kids. I love working with kids. And one day I was helping put on an event for the Semper Fi, and I turned around and I saw a patch. I ran up to him and I said, what is this about? And he handed me a pamphlet, told me when the next meeting was, and I've been going ever since. I can't tell you what it means to me. I will work around the clock, whatever it takes for these kids. I'm a mother of 3, I'm a grandmother of 6. We have a small business, and we make it fit. It can be tough sometimes, but when I look at what a child goes through, this is nothing. They're the heroes, they're the ones that are hurt. I'll deal with it. And that's what all of my brothers and sisters here do, all over. We do whatever it takes, and we adhere it into our life. It is our lives.
Bikers Against Child Abuse, B.A.C.A, exists with the intent to create a safer environment for abused children.
We exist as a body of bikers to empower children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live.
We stand ready to lend support to our wounded friends by involving them in an established united organization.
We work in conjunction with local and state officials already in place to protect the children.
We desire to send a clear message to all those involved with the abused child that this child is a part of our organization and that we are prepared to lend our physical and emotional support to them by affiliation and our physical presence.
We stand at the ready to shield these children from further abuse.
We do not condone the use of violence or physical force of any manner. However, should circumstances arise such that we are the only obstacle preventing that child from further abuse, we stand ready to be that obstacle.